Hello and welcome back to what critics are calling the most awkward recap of Walking Dead Dead City, available on YouTube. That's not a direct quote, it's more of like a paraphrasing, but yeah. So click that subscribe button because that's really, I hold that award high in my hands. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com. I'm a blind film critic, and I'm recapping and reviewing The Walking Dead Dead City on AMC Plus, a show that does not have audio description on a streaming service that barely offers audio description. So it's what we blind people like to use to be able to understand things. Like, I don't know, the last 10 minutes of this episode, which is we'll get to that. So what was I able to follow? And if you think it's weird for me to follow, then you can understand. If you think this is weird to watch, understand what it's like for me to watch it as a show, and to be a Walking Dead fan from day one, and still trying to be a Walking Dead fan even after I've lost my vision, trying desperately to cling on for dear life to this series, as it clearly does not love me back by making itself accessible. So Walking Dead Dead City, where we last left off, the Croat. We found the Croat and Negan met up. Negan decided, instead of making his fists known to the Croat, that he would save Albaforth, and get Alabama out of there. And so he and America Ferrera are wandering around the New York together, the city, and of course our good cop still wants to arrest Negan, which is hilarious. It's like, what is your deal, dude? Even Negan's like, come on, man. Like, wait, are you serious? Like, after everything you've seen, you're still like that's what you're still trying to do. So as the episode progresses, between the two of them, Abernathy, I do know his real name, I'm just like making fun of it, falls and hurts himself and he requires assistance. And Negan's like, all right, if I help you, we're going to stop this shit we're talking about taking me in. And Abernathy's like, no, we're not. And Negan's like, fuck it, I'll save you anyway. So he gets him and saves him, and gets his leg wrapped, because they have this bonding moment where they're like, you work for the state? I worked for the state. I was a gym teacher. I was like, that's not the same thing. You barely worked for the state. Like, come on. Teachers are like in a different world of their own. So yeah, it's I can't. Abernathy, I don't know. He did something down by the docks. He followed his brother down there, and there was this story about his brother, and I don't know, because he was like, I don't know, he was like looking for approval from Negan or something. I don't know. They bonded over it a little bit, and I think they're in a better place as a duo. So that's good. I guess we're keeping this character around, so Abernathy is around for the long haul, perhaps. Meanwhile, in Maggieland, Maggieland's actually a theme park that you can visit. It's in North Virginia. It's a little theme park, where you can just drive around forever. And no, it's just Maggie and the other survivors whose names I swear to God I have not learned, because the show is facial recognition is one thing when you're watching a show, because you never really need to know somebody's name. You can just recognize the actor or actress. Um, for example, I'm a deep fan of The Walking Dead. Does anybody remember the name of the black lady from season 1 that just kind of was standing there for most of season 1? But she stood there a lot. Like, she was in a lot of scenes. And then she just kind of, like, her character just kind of went nowhere, and then she was gone. Like, but she was in the entire season 1. She made it all the way to that nuclear fallout thing, and she made it. She got it in there. Like, I don't think a single person used her name in season 1. She was just like a background extra that just kept surviving. Anyway, so yeah, you don't really need names when you have fecal recognition. That too. So Maggie is with Lin-Manuel Miranda, maybe, and I don't know, Lynn Stalker. A music theater nerd following Lin-Manuel Miranda around. But yeah, they I guess survived that madness in the last episode with the stadium and everything. And I think somehow, I'm not really sure how, but I think, because I do get the little post-episode things, because I'm on AMC Plus, so I get the producer's thoughts. I found out there was like a cage with a little girl in it. Was that little girl the little girl that Negan dropped off? Because if so, they were terrible at picking like a good location for her to be dropped off at. And I mean, this is kind of a big world. So you're telling me in the time that Negan dropped that non-verbal girl off somewhere, the Croat went out and found her and and dragged her all the way back and put her in a cage? What is happening in this world? Do you have any idea how hard it would be for me to wander around and bump into somebody if we were just walking around? And this dude found the girl that but Negan was already on his way back to this area. Like, this guy works in mysterious ways. I swear to God, it's amazing how this guy works. He maneuvers, but I figured it out because Maggie was clearly talking to a little girl who was not talking back. And I was like, oh my God, it's the nonverbal girl from from the first episode and from the flashback. How the fuck did she get back in this series? Did she lose her dinosaur again? Yeah. And I also love Maggie's, this is one of the things, like, as it's either poor writing or it's like, I clearly missed something with audio description. There's Maggie first is like, you don't know him. If you knew the Negan I knew, you wouldn't go back. You know, you'd run. Like, I love that. And then, like, at the end of the episode, Maggie's like, Negan's the key. And I'm like, oh, so 2 minutes ago you were all like, let's get the fuck out of here and leave Negan behind. And now you're like, I need Negan. He's the key to all of this. I don't know. It's just like so hot and cold. Like, she goes through moments where she's like, I'm a villain. I'm a hero. I'm a villain. I'm a hero. I don't want to be like Negan, but I'm so like Negan. I turned into Negan. She's very much the quote from The Dark Knight. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself be a villain. Well, she's right in that point. She's probably gonna need to die soon, otherwise that's gonna turn into it's gonna turn into an actual thing for her. Yeah, so she's weirdly making choices. Turns out Lynn may not be the best helper ever. He may have been he may have given them away. He may have some sort of weird deal pact that keeps his group alive. And when they went into raid, he set off some sort of signal that let everybody know what was going on the Croat side. And Maggie's not happy about that. Maggie's like, wait a minute. What? she catches it, and she's on the ball. And so those are those two storylines. And then on the third storyline is the Croat, where we find out that the Croat is still a lieutenant. He's still not on top. He still has to follow somebody. But he's following somebody who I'm so intrigued. Like, I wish, like, these, if I could add audio description to one scene, it was this person, because he walks into what I can only assume is like a former like director of like a Broadway show is now like running New York City, because everything she refers to is like very theatrical. Like, she's worried about how the show ends. She's like, what happens when it ends, the show, the plot, and I'm like, who are you? I'm so deeply intrigued by this character right now, and she's listening to like Una Furtiva Lagrima or something like that in the background. She's listening to like an opera song in the background. It's just it's a little. I'm like, well, this is a change from Negan. I don't know why the Croat's following her, but I love the. I think there's like another lieutenant. Croat's trying to get in there, and someone's like, "Move, bitch! Get out of my way!" I love that. That's great. Little great moments. I don't even know how they exist in the course of the series, but I just kind of in my mind put them together. I know what the actor Zelko Ivanek looks like, so it's easy for me to put him in these positions and kind of imagine people around him from my when I could see. I used to be able to see. I watched Walking Dead all the way up until when Rick left, but with being able to see. So I know what these characters look like. Maggot, Negan. I don't know what anybody else looks like, and I know what the other actor looks like because of that. And somewhere in here is Gaius Charles. I think he might be Abernathy, and I remember him from Friday Night Lights. So, and Grey's Anatomy. So yeah, that is Walking Dead: Dead City. I don't know what's going to happen in the finale. I did notice that this is listed as a season 1 finale, so I'm expecting a renewal. I cannot imagine they would cancel this show unless the ratings are just awful, because their whole thing is trying to give this series new life. And even that fucking god-awful World's End that they did with the kids from the CW, you know, like the CW version of The Walking Dead, that thing got 2 seasons. I can't imagine the thing with Maggie and Negan doesn't at least get 2 seasons. So I think we got at least 6 more episodes coming at some point. If you're still here, you must have seen the news that we're dropping Walking Dead Daryl Dixon soon. They went ahead and announced the release date for that. I think it's taking the traditional Walking Dead fall spot. Melissa McBride came back into the project, so I don't know how that's going to work out. For anybody who has heard what Daryl Dixon is about, he washes up on a beach in France, and everybody else is French. So I don't know how Carol would also get to France. I don't know how Carol would find him in France if she doesn't wash up on the same beach. So I'm very interested to know how they integrated Carol into the show. Also, you know, at the end of Walking Dead, Daryl kind of drives off by himself. So how did they... I mean, she made a choice, so they wrote the story a certain way. And now Melissa's like, you know what? I'm bored. I want to keep working. And they're like, okay. Come on back then. I'm so interested to see how they reintegrated her into the series she was originally supposed to be in, but they had to like write her out of it and then wrote her back into it. Was she already in France? Like, they somehow got over there and Daryl was like gonna swim the Atlantic Ocean and he made it finally. He's a great swimmer now. I don't know. We'll find out. But that's the next show that's coming up in the series of Walking Dead stuff. And then obviously after that, at some point, probably when the writer's strike is over, I don't know where they left it in terms of that, but there's the Rick and Michonne. Rick! Because they promised us the movie. We had movie trailers, but they couldn't follow through. Yeah, so anyway, this is usually where I talk about audio description also. There is none. There should be. Lots. Lots of people were attacked by zombies. It's hard for me to follow that. It would also help me when we get audio description with those names. You know how I make fun of people by calling them Lin-Manuel Miranda? Well, that's because I don't know what the guy's name is. In the audio description, every time that dude moved, it would remind me what his name is. So it would help. Because it's like our version of facial recognition is by every time he's referenced as a character, he's referenced as like Bob moves forward, Bob walks down the corner, Bob turns left, he's attacked by a zombie, you know, stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, Bob, shit, damn. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen here, so I don't actually know what these people's names are, these new people. It's possible they were said once in a fleeting moment. Somebody whispered them in the background. I don't know. It's taken me a while to learn Abernathy. I think I got that right. I still think he might be Dumbledore and he might be Aberforth. So it's possible. Outside chance. We're linking the franchises. And then we get to the last 10 minutes, which are like inaudible. It just totally, they don't make any sense. There is no talking. Something's happening. I have no idea. None. I do not know what happened in the last 10 minutes. Like, it's not 10 minutes. About 5, I would say 5 to 7. But it is actually a really long period of time. It's not like, sometimes there's like a hot 30 seconds of a show where I'm like, okay, well, they're navigating, they're showing us these zombies. And I was like, man, this scene is going on forever. What the fuck is happening in this scene? What are we doing? What's going on here? Like, I have no idea. It kind of felt to me like the Connie episode on The Walking Dead when all of a sudden Connie became the main focus and I had a non-verbal person who was in charge. So if that's Connie coming back into the series, mad love. I'm super excited. Except it'll be more stuff I can't understand what she's doing. But she seems to be able to take care of herself. I don't think that's what that is, but anyway, that's why I have to give this episode of Walking Dead Dead City, as much as I love Walking Dead Dead City, and I try to make every excuse for this franchise as I humanly fuckingly possibly can, I'm giving it a grade of unwatchable. It's usually what I give a show. It doesn't mean I hate it. It means that my grade for this would be far too affected by the lack of audio description. To be able to give it any sort of grade that would actually reflect the quality of the episode. As a blind person, it's unwatchable, and I can't even... I've tried to slide this one in with grades. Basically, the whole damn series is unwatchable, but this one is definitely an unwatchable episode. I can't ignore the ending of the episode being so undescribably just noise with I don't know what that is. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and hopefully that was less awkward or more awkward. I don't know which one I want. Let's go with more. Hopefully that was more awkward. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Did I get more or less awkward? I also have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can go over there and check that stuff out. Please subscribe for more Dead City and other Walking Dead shows, because, oh yeah, I'm going to do this with Daryl Dixon now, too. So, you can bet on that. And I will see you guys for next week's season finale, episode 6, next week. Until then, see you guys on the other side.